everyone. My name is Frank Driscoll, and welcome to Driscoll's Election Dissection, your election analysis for Across the Circus. I hope you are all doing well today, wherever you are. So, for this show, we're going to be taking a look at some elections you might want to watch that will be taking place on Tuesday, March 19th. Two of them are Republican primaries in the state of Ohio. One of them is a all-party primary in California. And I know you're probably just thinking, we just had a primary in California. Well, 2 weeks after the last one, we have another one. That's the fun thing about elections, they don't stop coming. So, we head to the Buckeye State, the state of Ohio. Now, in Ohio, there's a Senate election this year. Incumbent Senator Sherrod Brown is running for re-election. He's a Democrat. He's been serving the U.S. Senate for Ohio since 2007. However, given that Ohio has gone a little bit more to the right over the last few years, Senator Brown is a very big target for the Republican Party and their chances of winning back the upper chamber. So the election in November already seems to be a toss-up at this point, but its final rating will ultimately be decided on who the Republican nominee is. So there are three major Republican candidates in this race, and they are State Senator Matt Dolan, Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, and businessman and auto dealer Bernie Moreno. So all three Republican candidates have different views throughout the Republican Party. Some are more conservative than others, and it shows with endorsements. For example, Bernie Moreno has already received some major endorsements, including former President Donald Trump, amongst other U.S. senators of the Republican Party. Matt Dolan has received some notable endorsements as well from state senators, as well as former state representatives, including former Ohio Republican Senator Rob Portman. And Frank LaRose has received a handful of state representative endorsements as well. And despite the big name endorsements here and there, this race does look to be relatively close. In the last poll that was created about 2 weeks back, Moreno is leading with 29%, but Matt Dolan only has 27%, and LaRose isn't far behind with 21%, and 23% are undecided, and a 4.3 margin of error for that poll. So this is already looking to be very close, and I would take a look at it because whoever wins this primary could have an edge in November, but it is still looked at as a toss-up on many political analysis reports. And speaking of Ohio, a special election primary will also be held in the state on Tuesday the 19th. It involves Ohio's 6th Congressional District. Now, incumbent Representative Bill Johnson resigned from his seat on the 21st of January of this year. He was hired to be the new president of Youngstown State University. So he left his seat and a special election has been called. So according to the Cook PVI, Republicans are favored in this district by 16 points. And even though there are two candidates in the Democratic primary, the Republicans have a big advantage. And coincidentally, there are three major candidates for this election as well. Those candidates are State Senator Michael Rowley, State Representative Reggie Stoltzfus, and chiropractor and community activist Rick Sy. Now, there aren't many polls on this race, so it's really not evident who is going to win this primary. However, I would look at it because whoever wins this primary will very likely win the seat on June 11th. That's right, the general election will be held on June 11th. And also, the regularly scheduled primary will also be on that date. So, people in Ohio, District 6, remember, there's two elections for the same race. So be sure to vote for both of them if you have a favorite candidate. And finally, we go back to the Golden State, the state of California, because there's a special election going on in California's 20th Congressional District. So this district, coincidentally to Ohio's 6th district, has a Cook PVI rating of Republicans plus 16 points. And this district may sound familiar to some because it was the former district of our last Speaker of the House before Mike Johnson took the gavel, Kevin McCarthy. As you may know, Kevin McCarthy was ousted as Speaker of the House after a relatively short tenure, and he decided to leave the House of Representatives not long after that. So his seat is open. And there was a primary election for this seat on March the 5th. However, this special election is somewhat different. Unlike the regularly scheduled one where the top two candidates go to the general election no matter the percentage. If somebody gets 50% or more right here, they win the election outright and they take the seat. If not, then the two candidates with the most votes go on to a runoff election on May 21st. And if you're probably wondering, oh, that kind of sounds like how Louisiana did their governor election last year, well, you'd be correct. Now, since this is a heavily Republican district, there are two major Republican candidates out of the handful of Republican candidates in the race. There's 4, along with 2 Democrats and 2 independents. But the 2 major ones are State Assemblyman Vince Fong and Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreaux. Now, Vince Fong actually had a heck of a time getting into this race because he applied for both the regularly scheduled primary and the special primary. However, the Secretary of State of California, Shirley Weber, disqualified him from the special election, saying that he couldn't. So Vince Fong took the case to court and he won. So he is able to run in this election. Now, it's unclear if laws will change in California after this, but it's possible. And in the regularly scheduled primary, Vince Fong received the most votes, and Mike Boudreaux came in second. Now, Vince Fong, as of this taping, since votes are still being counted, received 41.2% of the vote. This is according to current data as of this taping. And Mike Boudreaux is not that far behind with just under 25%. Now, this could be a telling of the votes in the next election, as it could be very likely that people will likely vote for the same candidate they voted for in the weeks prior. So we could be seeing a runoff for that race, but I would check it out though, because you never know if the scales could tip the other way. So to recap, our elections to watch for March 19th are the Republican primary for the Ohio U.S. Senate race, the Republican primary for Ohio's 6th Congressional District, and the special election occurring for the U.S. House of Representatives in California's 20th Congressional District. And as always, I say, if you are a registered voter in Ohio or in the 20th District of California, I don't care who you vote for, but I do care that you vote. So please do. Thank you for listening to Driscoll's Election Dissection. If you'd like to learn more about the show, go online to algidproductions.com/acrossthecircus and be sure to listen to us on any podcasting form you like. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you all very soon.